Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. This is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads.
Why shouldn't there be a Guinness 0?
Guinness is it's like the antique of beer.
My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and we're brought to you this week, as ever, by our lovely partners, Contagious, who helped source the ad this week. But before we get to that ad, let's meet this week's guests.
Karin Davenport. I am lead director for Lifecycle Segment Marketing at CVS Health.
And I'll jump in and say hello. I'm Andrea Katsivelis at Microsoft, and I'm a director of global GTM strategy.
So this week's ad comes from Diageo and one of their master brands, Guinness, and it's an absolutely cheeky and fascinating way of advertising their alcohol-free or Guinness 0.0. So I'd like you to give this campaign a vote out of 5. 1, 2, 3. A 2 and a 3. So Andrea, cool, attention-grabbing ad, but what was going on outside of this execution we've just seen here?
So Guinness has launched a zero alcohol beer, which was new to me, surprise to me. And so really making that part of their customer base interest in attracting new customers. So wrapping that around St. Paddy's Day, pretty smart, pretty clever. But launch of the zero alcohol option is a pretty big deal.
I thought it was really interesting. I think what's tough for me is I just struggle with who their target market is for this one. The first time I watched it, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And then what I thought was really powerful about it is it got stuck in my head. Just like the singing and the visuals, I just thought it was a really interesting play on how they can actually promote zero alcohol in a really fun, entertaining way.
First of all, it's very clever, reaching people and getting them connected with different mediums, different offers, and just the visual appeal of causing even someone to say, what the heck is that? Because that's what I thought when I actually watched the video is, what is Guinness 0.0? So I had to actually go look it up after watching the video to learn about it.
Yeah, because there was no call to action on it. So that led me to think it was probably launched as a TV campaign, or I would think like at a sports game on some kind of monitor. I think it's really clever because when I think of Guinness, I just think of the foam. Foam, and you would not have to sacrifice that with zero alcohol. So it's interesting they played on the foam piece of it versus, I think, more of the beer itself.
I loved the aspect of, make it a St. Patrick's Day to remember, right? You're not blitzed out drunk. And so, enjoy Guinness the way you might normally would have. And maybe it's for people who aren't drinking as much anymore, but, would like to either at the pub or, at home be able to enjoy it. Or people who are, health conscious.
I think still I struggle a bit with who the target market is. I think it's like if we're thinking about non-drinkers and it's maybe more of a social play, is the age group folks like myself? I don't know. Or are they trying to go after the younger audiences who are partying on St. Patrick's Day? Or maybe all. It's interesting. I need to go deeper into like the social components of it to see who it is they're really trying to target, because I would think was probably very defined.
Maybe the gap was also very deliberate, right? Because could it be meme worthy, right? With the animation and the singing foam, and then attracting a younger audience who might want to make their own versions of that, or at the same time with the music choice can appeal to multiple generations from a customer base. So diehard
Guinness fans are like committed. And it's been an experience for decades. You go into a pub, you sip on Guinness, and you hang out for many, many, many hours. I think what the zero alcohol version does is it brings this element of like youth and partying into it, which was interesting as well. So that's why I still am struggling. Like, who is this person who's going to sit down and drink Guinness in this way that it's teed up, right? My association with Guinness is so different than how it's presented in this ad in the zero alcohol version.
You know, I drink Coke Zero. I drink Pepsi Zero. Why shouldn't there be a Guinness Zero? So, you know, it is sort of a little on trend of saying, hey, there's a Guinness Zero. And, you know, it's not just soft drink products that are offering it. But I do wonder, is there some broader topic going on in the UK, like some issue or conversation that's either been had in social media or in the news that might have prompted it, like pre-St. Patrick's Day?
Being the UK person, I definitely didn't see any of that. The heartland of Guinness is that sort of emotional truth conversation. You know, it's not a bottle of Corona with a lime in the top while you're on a beach getting hammered. It's like, you know, come on, uncle, granddad, partner, you know, sister, whatever. It's like, you know, we're going to sit in the corner with a Guinness, and that means we're talking about something serious.
It's about the connection, not in the conversation, not about the partying. And I think when I watched that ad, my initial thought was, wow, this really isn't about Guinness, right? Because Guinness is it's like the antique of beer. Like, it's like everybody knows it. It's meaningful. People connect around a Guinness. And when I saw that ad, it just seemed very overwhelming, and everyone kind of screaming and raging around it, which I don't know, maybe that's the St. Patrick's Day piece of like you're removing the noise. I don't know.
Andrea, what would you have done differently?
First of all, would have recognized or identified who the target audience is. They clarified it a little bit, like in the video, in the ad, to make sure that, like, who's this resonating for? Because there is a dichotomy between the, you know, social meme singing animation and the, you know, song from the 80s. Although lots of 80s very popular today, right? So everything's coming back. But at the same time, like from a marketing perspective, yes, it's sort of typical, but I would have thought that to round it out, to have something that says 0 calories, same great taste, same phone, you know, the same experience, that to me would have rounded it out to, you know, to solidify, you know, give it a shot. Here's what we're talking about.
Would you signed off this campaign in its current iteration? Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. Thank you. Guinness, I liked it. I thought it was quite good fun. But the panel is less convinced. We'll see what happens next year on St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much for your time.